What is up, good people? It is G-Pot, and I am back with an amazing Marvel Strike Force video. This whole video is about getting you set up and thinking about the paths that you're going to want to choose, and maybe some of the paths you don't want to choose as you progress through Marvel Strike Force. I am level 64 on my main account, level 47 on my free-to-play, and these are all things that I am considering now, as well as I've thought about since I've started the game. As a returning player, I do recognize and know about a lot of these things that I need to be planning for and focusing on. But as a brand new player, you may not. And I have set up an infographic that I'm going to walk you through and kind of talk you through. And that way you can get it in your head as a new player or a returning player, wherever you're at on your account, some of the things you should be focusing on. Some of those paths and decisions you really have to juggle. Now, I've said it many times before, you're in your own little multiverse, so don't worry about what other people are doing. But definitely gather knowledge and opinions and other people's thoughts. Never follow a YouTuber blindly. But definitely go out there and get the best information you can find. Think about it, learn it. Does it make sense to you? Is this something you want to do with your account to benefit you? And then decide what you're going to do personally. All I'm doing here is giving you the information that I think will get you that competitive edge, will get you to end game where you want to be faster, more efficiently, as well as setting you up for success. So Marvel Strike Force is a juggling act. You have to juggle resources, game modes, teams, characters, so many things that you have to be thinking about, because if you don't, once you get there, you're going to be essentially hit a brick wall, and you're going to be farming things to catch up. Maybe you weren't thinking about them in time, and you're just way behind the gun essentially. So most of us are not great jugglers, right? And then there are a few of us that would rather, maybe look a little more professional, do some research, and end up coming out the other side looking a lot better. Now, for those of us that want to do that, I would definitely recommend going down below and clicking that subscribe button, so we don't look like the first dude, right? And that way you get up-to-date information when I put out beginner's guides or just informational event guides, all the good stuff that you can find about Marvel Strike Force. Everything you need to know right here on the channel, completely free to do. Just click that subscribe button. Really helps my channel grow, as well as thumbs it up if you find this entertaining, funny, helpful, informational, anything like that you want to help support the channel. Smash that thumbs up. Both of those are completely free to do, and I'd really greatly appreciate it as we're headed towards 1,000 subscribers, right? I know you're looking at this and you're thinking, what is this jumbled mess, right? Damn! Well, I'm going to walk you through it. You'll be able to find this on my Discord as well if you ever want to look back at it. You can take a screenshot, whatever. This is the paths that I think are most relevant. It's got some in here that are deadfalls, essentially, and some things that you really don't want to focus on. But we're going to break it all down right here, right now, all right? So let's go ahead and dive in. When I went to set this up, I was thinking this wouldn't be too difficult. Make an interesting looking graphic and some PowerPoints, essentially, or talking points. This would be quick and easy. And boy, was I wrong. But now that it's finished, I'm actually quite blown away. Up here at the top, it says G-Buzz Multiversal Paths. And what that means, you can plug in your name, whatever. I like to talk about the multiverse and its infinite possibilities, right? And that's what the multiverse is. It's insane. It's huge. It's massive. It's never-ending. It's everlasting. Let's dive in here. So the first two huge things to any account that you need to be focusing on is your arena team at level 30 and your raid team at level 20. Now, starting out, usually these are one and the same. So whoever you're using for your raid team is going to be your strongest team, essentially, and it's also going to be your arena team. Now, moving forward, you have some more paths here to look at, and I want to list them off here real quick. You could go into 5 Doom raid teams for Doom raids, essentially Doom 1 raids. And what that means is you need a bio team, 5 bio characters, 5 mutant characters, 5 mystic, 5 skill, 5 tech. That's 25 characters you got to build to be able to beat Doom raids chapter 1. And same with 2 and 3, but you have to build the teams bigger and bigger and bigger. So while you're making your raid team be able to beat Ultima 6 and 7, and you're beating U 7.5, Ultima 7.5, and your arena team's in the top 250, the top 100, you're doing great there. Do you want to branch off and start building out those 5 teams, right? So that way you can progress from Ultimus into Doom raids, where you'll start getting blue ISOs, better gear, better rewards, all that stuff. So this is one thing that you do have to juggle. Another option is to farm your favorite characters. So you got your raid teams going good. Like I said, you're doing U7.5. You're in the Greek raid 4.5, and you're doing all right. Now, Greek raid 4.5 is pretty insane. So we'll say you're in Greek raid 4. Raid teams are going swell. You're still investing in them. You're building them up. You're getting great payouts. Your arena team's on the top 250. Do you go and farm your favorites? I'm not going to tell you no. This is definitely something else you can juggle, and you can personally make that decision. Always, you should be having fun in the game, and you should definitely farm your favorites when you can and build them as you see fit, because if you're not having fun in the game and you're not building your favorites, why are you playing the game just to click teams that people say are the best and you have to have, you know? It's like you're not playing your own game anymore. You're just doing what people tell you. So I highly recommend farming your favorites whenever you feel like it and you see fit to have fun, right?
No way. Way. Yeah.
Now, you're also going to be juggling Dark Dimension. And what I mean by that is you're looking at Dark Dimension 2 at level 70. You're not looking at Dark Dimension 1 because it requires 6-star characters, not 5 of them. I think you only need 1 or 2 to get into it. But you're focused on Dark Dimension 2 because it only requires gear tier 13 on your characters. So you're going to have your Cersei, your Icarus, you're going to have your Web Warriors at gear tier 13 for raids, and your arena team. And you're going to be able to go into Dark Dimension 2 right at level 70 when you gear them up to G13, right? This is something you're going to want to be juggling and preparing for while you're farming your favorites, or you're farming for flash events, or you're farming your 5 Doom Raid teams and you're building them up. Your main focus is probably going to want to beat Dark Dimension, because when you beat Dark Dimension 2, you get Ultron as well as a big chunk of gear, and it allows you to build up a second team, right? To G13, G14, G15. And then you go into Dark Dimension 3, and you have to have 4 teams, or 3 teams. You have to have a global, city, and I think cosmic or mystic. But the point being is you're going to start building out teams for Dark Dimension. Now, which one takes priority? Do my 5 teams for Doom Raids take priority? Do farming my favorites take priority? Does Dark Dimension 3 take priority? This is the juggling act that is Marvel Strike Force. And these are things that you have to be thinking about and deciding on. Now, bear in mind, when you're building for Dark Dimension, those 5 city characters are probably going to be like Web Warriors, or they're going to be bio characters. So it's going to be one of your raid teams, right? Your global characters are going to transform into like skill and tech, as well as multiple other traits. They're going to fill in some of those gaps for those 5 Doom Raid teams, right? So obviously I would think building towards Dark Dimension would be the way to go. And then, sorting out the leftover characters you need to build up for your 5 Doom teams. Bear in mind, it's probably going to be a good 6 to 9 months, if not a year, that you're going to be in Ultima 7. Ideally, you want to be progressing as fast as you can, but it also relies heavily on your alliance. If you're the only one focusing on these things, and half your alliance isn't, they're just building willy-nilly whoever for whatever, you're not going to be able to get into Doom campaign or Doom raids without them. So you're going to be still in Ultima 7, but you're going to be way ahead of the gap. And that's where you got to kind of decide, do I change alliances? Do I mention this to my alliance? Hey, are you guys thinking about this as well? Where are you at on this? There's a lot of stuff to consider and take in when playing Marvel Strike Force. It's not simply get your favorite characters, build them up, and dominate the game. You know what I mean? There's really a lot to it. So I put flash events over here because I do recommend in my beginner's guide, day 1, start farming for Chaos Theory, Payday Event, and Back to Boot Camp. That's going to get you your training modules, your gold payout, your monthly gold payout, and your promotion credits to Red Star characters. And when you Red Star them, they're going to be way better in Dark Dimension. They're going to be way better in Doom Raids, as well as your favorite characters are going to be a heck of a lot stronger. So flash events is right underneath these two, essentially, is what I do believe. I think you should be doing that as a starter player, and if nothing else, you're tier 3, tier 4ing these flash events, and you can kind of peel away from that if you choose to. And obviously you don't have to do it all, but I think it's a really great option moving forward right here. Alright, so now you're juggling all these things while keeping your arena team in the top 250. Your raid team's still solid, you're blowing through stuff, you're starting to work towards Doom Raids and Dark Dimension and such. All while farming your favorite characters, right? And there just ain't enough gear in this game, gold, there ain't enough resources. It is a heavy resource management game, so you got to prioritize what's most important to you.
No way. Way.
I'm going to go down here and talk about the next 4 big things that come to mind. Building war teams. Now, my personal opinion on war teams is, while you're building a raid team, arena team, a Dark Dimension team, you're building for the 3 flash events, you're going to get 3 teams here, a Dark Dimension team, if not 3 Dark Dimension teams. You're going to get 5 raid teams. There's 10 war teams, right? 10 plus war teams, more than likely. Do you build war teams? I 100% say no. This is a terrible, terrible trap. Do not do this. Use the teams that you're building for these other game modes to be your war teams and use them as they're built. Don't go and specifically farm up Gamma to have a great war team, right? Now, if you're using some of the Gamma characters in Dark Dimension or in the Doom Raids, absolutely feel free to use them as a war team, right? But I don't specifically think that you should farm a war team like Heroes for Hire for war defense. All they're going to do is set on war defense. I don't think you should go build them to 1,000,000 power and prioritize them with your resources. There just isn't enough. So this is really a deadfall, and I would just never even think about doing this until you're almost to end game. You're just building who you want at that point. You have most of the teams built out. Then maybe you can focus on some war teams. I would not prioritize this whatsoever. This is the last thing you should ever think about. Now, that being said, over here on the right, it says chasing the meta. And what that means is every new team that comes out is probably going to be one of the best teams and definitely going to be the best team for what they're built for. So like Bifrost right now is the newest thing out. Are you going to chase that meta, or are you going to go with your original Cosmic team, Mystic team for Doom Raids, right? Or use them in incursions if you can. Another thing that chasing the meta is, a new team will always change in the arena. Usually you're lucky if you get 6 months out of a team in the arena, in my personal opinion. It used to be like Black Order held it down for like a year, 15 months, something like that. But as that shifts to a new team, are you going to chase that meta team and risk all this other good stuff that you need to be focusing on to get the meta characters, right? Just to be competitive in arena, let's say, or just to be competitive in a war, or to clear one lane in raids. Are you going to chase that meta? I don't like chasing the meta at all, especially free to play. It's near impossible. Once you're end game and you have most of the characters built out or farmed up, as they release new characters, this is like 2-3 years into the game, right? You're able to farm the meta characters per se because you have the ability to get the new characters as they drop, and you're able to invest in them because you have everything else built. Free to play, do not chase the meta. It's impossible. Light spender, it's going to make you spend more essentially to be able to do it. So I would highly recommend it against chasing the meta. And if you're a Well or a Kraken, absolutely chase the meta. That's exciting, right? You're spending money. You want to be competitive. Go ahead and chase the meta. But otherwise, this is another trap, another deadfall. You're setting yourself up for failure by following this. So this and building war teams, I think, are just atrocious, right? Now, you have down here Cosmic Crucible, which is similar to War. Has amazing payouts as well as its own store. Similar to War again. You only need 6 teams for this. Do I recommend focusing on building the 6 meta teams for Cosmic Crucible? Free to play or light spender? Absolutely not. Again, I would reflect on these teams and use what you got for your arena team, your raid teams, your Dark Dimension team. Use those to get as many resources as you can out of Cosmic Crucible. Eventually, this will be a game mode that you can focus more heavily into, but really all it's giving you is currencies to buy character shards and some gear that you don't really need, okay? You should be able to get the gear from other sources in the game. It's supplementing is what it's doing. I do love a lot of the characters that are in that store, but you don't have to build for this to get the currency to get those characters, all right? So do not focus this. This is another trap to think that you should build towards Cosmic Crucible. This is an in-game game mode. It's like Galactic Arena Championship or whatever it is in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is an in-game game mode, and you will get there. Use what you got. Do not focus this. Alright, so last but not least is Apocalypse. And Apocalypse, everybody wants him. Getting Apocalypse is like a star on top of the Christmas tree. It's a cherry on top of your ice cream. It's the chocolate syrup on your banana split or whatever you enjoy eating that is an ice cream type dessert, right? This is the hot sauce on your wings, man. Apocalypse is dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and it's the pinnacle of your account, essentially. Once you unlock Apocalypse and you get Big Boy Apocalypse, you can kind of go anywhere you want and move throughout the game. Once you've obtained Apocalypse, you have all these things. You have the firm foundation. You're moving through the game. You're at a point where you can decide from there on what you want to do. Now, yes, that was a lot. But now I want to move forward and kind of prioritize these. These two are the biggest, most important things you can do in this game. Arena team, make sure you're staying in that top 250, if not top 100 if you can, and having a raid team that can beat the raids. Now, if your alliance is moving into Doom raids, you want to kind of backburner or juggle this. You want to be building up 5 bio, 5 skill, 5 tech, so on and so forth. You want to build out your 5 Doom teams. You also want to be focusing Dark Dimension 2 and Dark Dimension 3, 4, and usually what you use in Dark Dimension 2 will progress into Dark Dimension 3 and grow, and then the teams you use there will progress and be used in DD4 and 5 and so on. So you're only adding little bits and pieces, but there's a lot of gear in here. So I would focus these two. I would start building for flash events, those 3 primary flash events, and then I would also be focusing on Dark Dimension 2. And then once I would say you're a good 3 months into the game or something, you could also start juggling, building out 25 characters for the 5 teams for Doom raids. Now, Apocalypse is way down the road. After you're doing these successfully, I'll say you're probably in DD3, DD4 at that point. You got a solid 10, 15 teams built out. Apocalypse requires, I think I heard somebody say like 28 characters at G15, G17. So it's an in-game type of farm. But you can be building these characters that you need for Apocalypse after you've focused on these, okay? So this is definitely your priority here. Just keep that in mind. You got to be juggling all this stuff. Raid team needs to be solid in U75 and in Gamma raids. And then Arena team has to be solid in top 250 before you even think about farming your favorites. And then if you farm your favorites, you can use them in these Doom raids, right? You can use them in Dark Dimension. Your favorite characters, you can build them big enough to where they can be used in those game modes. You might not be efficient. It might be, a 15-minute fight in Dark Dimension on each node, but you're using your favorite characters, right? And I think that's a lot more fun than building a team that somebody else has already done and blowing through it in 5 seconds. The reward is not worth the time investment to just do what somebody else is telling you. So I would definitely farm your favorites always. I hope this was more helpful than confusing, but these are all things you need to be juggling. Again, don't chase that meta. It's the white rabbit, and it just leads you down a hole to never-ending misery. In my personal opinion, and war teams will just come naturally. The same with Cosmic Crucible, it'll come naturally. Once you're end game, you can focus on some of this stuff, becoming more competitive, dotting your I's, crossing your T's. I will say definitely like and subscribe, because I will be having a follow-up video for beginners, turning into mid-game type thing, talking all about what you need for Apocalypse. And that way you know what you have to juggle for Apocalypse, and you can incorporate it into your farming strategies and who you're building and such, if you choose to. I just want to provide that information for you. Now, I do want to jump over here and show this off as well, because I made this. And this is really towards beginners, right? These are the 3 flash events that I recommend. This is GPOS Multiverse as well. But I'm farming the Wakandans that I can, the Skill Military, and the Mercenaries that I can off of nodes and out of stores, so I can max those events as soon as possible, right? I got it here, Arena and Raid Team. I put an S, I'm sorry, it's Arena and Raid Team. That is your main focus while doing this. Now, I have tons and tons of extra campaign energy to spend, so there ain't many good nodes that I can farm right now for teams that I want. And the ones I do want, I do farm. Like, I'm farming, oh gosh, what is her name? Lady Deathstrike. I'm farming her for Weapon X, the team with Omega Red. I'm farming that because I love it. This is what a lot of people do and recommend absolutely out there, is to farm the cream minions with your extra campaign energy, because you can get to them early on. And then that will lead you to unlocking Nick Fury, right? And then you have to go farm Secret Avengers and Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's on a node, and 3 Secret Avengers are in stores. You got, or 2 of them are. You got Sharon Carter in the Raid store, and you got Maria Hill in the War store. Captain America Sam is actually a node farm, Doom War Chapter 2-6. So bear that in mind. You'll be a ways into campaigns over here, and Doom War campaign, before you're going to get to these Secret Avengers. So don't think because it's close to the center of the universe here that it's priority or you're going to get to it fast, because you won't. That's what this is, and these 3 are campaigns. You'll be pushing through campaigns, and you'll hit a point, I believe it's at level 70, you have to farm specific teams for the campaigns to beat 3 nodes, and then it takes a different specific requirement to beat 3 more nodes. So this is definitely something else you're going to be juggling, pushing through campaigns and do more campaign, all while juggling your raid teams, your Dark Dimension. There's a lot going on, right? And that's why it's just chaos, man. Chaos. But what this will do is eventually you'll unlock Kree minions, Nick Fury. You'll be at these, and you'll be building these up as well. So if you have extra energy and you want to start farming Winter Soldier now, early game, go ahead and do that, because eventually this is something you're probably going to want to do. And what these 4 do with Nick Fury is they unlock Omega Red, which is a legendary also. So then you have 2 legendaries. You have a Kree Minion team. You have a Secret Avenger team. You have the better part of a Weapon X team, depending on what you farm. You have Omega Red, they give you Wolverine. Sabretooth, you're going to get out of the Raid Star all while playing the game. A lot of things are going to unlock for you and open up. Tons and tons of paths. So I did point out down here, we got Apocalypse, Dark Dimension, and Raids. These are 3 huge ones that you're going to want to be juggling, all while juggling campaigns and arena and raid team. So, yes, it's a lot of information to take in. I would highly recommend watching this again and again, till it sinks in, so that way you know what you're kind of juggling, or refer to it. I will have this video and these PDFs linked in my Discord, so definitely join our Discord. Comment down below if you need that link, and I will get it to you ASAP. We have an amazing Marvel Strike Force community over there that can help answer your questions, and maybe you can come help answer their questions if you're a veteran player, you know, so definitely check it out. I do have one more screen I want to talk about here, and this is what I will be breaking down eventually for Apocalypse. And these are the 4 horsemen. We got Rogue, Archangel, Morgan Le Fay, and War, Red Hulk, right? And there's a pyramid scheme here. So if you want to jump the gun and go get on this before I make my video covering it, this leads you to the Apocalypse Saga. You're going to need all 3 of these original Marvel Strike Force characters unlocked, and none of them are farmable. It's premium orbs, mega orbs, the bumps, basic orbs, you know what I mean? And they come from the milestone rewards. Some of them do. So you're going to need all 3 of them, and they're going to have to be built way big, right? Then you're going to need these 4 horsemen. You need Pestilence, Famine, War, Saga, Death. The Saga, never mind. War, Death. And these are the teams that you're going to need, or you're going to get, essentially, right here. Darkhold, Unlimited X-Men, Gamma, Death Seed team. Now, how you unlock each and every one of these is right here. So you got to choose between Web Warriors, which I recommend farming for your Biolane and Doom raids, as well as your U7 raids in my beginner's guide. It's going to unlock Morgan Le Fay. You're going to be 4th of the way there with one of your horsemen, right? Then all you have left to do is build the whole Darkhold team with Morgan Le Fay to unlock Apocalypse. So it's a long way down the road, and I don't really want to get into this right now, but you can check out all the teams you need and such, and see how my Wakandans for flash events that I have you farming right away, again, is very, very important. A lot of things I'm starting you off with, my beginner's guides and such, are for this in-game content, and will lead you to where you want to get and go. So definitely like and subscribe. That's the last video clip I got there. I hope this was helpful. As always, much love, stay healthy, have fun, and I'll catch you all in the next one.